Obviously, after the start of the season you guys had, every win is going to be big here down the stretch as we head on down here. But I thought particularly important, considering what you guys have coming up, Ashland coming in on Saturday and then that 3-game road trip, to come back and battle after being down 14 to get the win certainly is big. Oh, try that again.
I didn't think my mic was on there. Yeah, absolutely. This, anytime you get home games, in conference, defending your home court's been something we've been really good at over the years. But to your point, we've got a tough one Saturday, and then we go hitting the road for a stretch here. So it was an important game from that standpoint, but I thought just as important for us to start to build some momentum here. Coach Halbashell, he talked to him this week, and he says, well, you can't win. You got to win the first one to win 2 in a row, and then you got to win 2 in a row to win 3 in a row. And he kept it real simple there. But I do feel like we're making some strides, and that's the big thing. I feel like the teams, especially at the defensive end of the floor, I thought we've seen it in practice. We've seen it on our practice video when we go back and watch. Charlie and I were talking about that quite a few times this week. We really feel like we're making the most strides at that defensive end, and it was needed. And a lot of young guys in there that just needed to learn how to play college defense, and we're coming together at that end, so it's exciting.
Well, that's where I was going. One of our keys to the game that we had picked out in this one was going back to the future, and going back to when defense was the hallmark of this program, no question about it, needed that kind of effort, and you limited them to 47 points. I'd say that's a pretty solid defensive effort.
It is. They're not a high-scoring team from the standpoint of pace and possessions, but they earned all 47 of those. We didn't really, I don't know, maybe they had a transition bucket in there somewhere, but for the most part, minus that very early stretch of the game, I thought we guarded them very, very well. I thought our second group came in, and especially our 3 guards out there, I thought those guys were tremendous on defense. Putting a true freshman out there on a 5th-year grad senior that averages, 18, 19 points a game.
Right.
And he just battling away. Jagger ended up having to guard him a couple stretches. And they run a lot of stuff, a lot of unique stuff, a lot of back cuts. It took our guys maybe a little bit just to get a feel for that early. And we weren't making shots at the other end, and they were guarding us, and they were really physical, and it wasn't looking good there for a stretch. But I give our guys a ton of credit. Once we settled in a little bit, we made a few big shots, but our defense really carried the day. Just kept us in the game early until we could make some shots and make some plays. And Khalil came in and made some threes, and we got a couple transition plays, and pretty soon, we cut that deficit down before halftime, and it was a brand new game.
Yeah, some of the other numbers that jump out, you forced 14 turnovers and turned that into 21 points. They only got 4 points off turnovers, partially because you guys only turned it over 4 times. An outstanding effort taking care of the basketball. And then when you look at second chance points, 15-5. And then the other big one, and you kind of alluded to it a moment ago there with the youngsters, 25-9 on the bench points. You guys win that contest.
That's, and that's something that our program has been really good at for a very long time, is feeling like, our depth. And I think that paid dividends again here tonight. And I really like the new combination of having Anthony Johnson with those guys on that. It just brings a little bit more, toughness and stability to that second group when they come in there. I think they're playing pretty darn well together. We've got some guys, and that's with Cameron. Did Cam score tonight?
Let's take a look at it here. Cam Shaw had 2 points.
2 points. Yeah, that's right. He had that layup. He had a nice drive layup. But they were all over Cam. He was being guarded pretty tough. But that's 25 without Cam. With Cam only getting 2 points, so that's a great effort by our bench guys. And yeah, just an overall great team effort tonight. I'm proud of our 2 seniors too, or our 3 seniors. Just in the way their approach was, even when we were behind tonight. I don't know if those guys would have handled it that way last year. Coach Prigge and I were talking about that at the very end of the game, how proud we were of their approach to that when we were behind. And so hopefully the pieces are kind of coming together.
Well, and then you talk about that, Nate Bruns. I mean, a slow start for Nate offensively there, a little frustration early on, but especially in that second half, really is certainly a part of that charge that came back, took the lead, and then extended it.
Yeah, they did a good job in the first half of you knew they were bringing help on him, and, we worked on that. We knew they would bring some help. But they did a really good job of fronting the post in the first half and making those catches hard, and they typically don't do that as much. So that was a little bit of a wrinkle that they just said basically Nate's not going to touch it very easily. So we made a few adjustments at halftime with that, and we were able to get Nate into some spots. And then I think they got fatigued a little bit, and we played with a little bit of pace that got him downhill and in a few different areas, and he hit a couple threes. So once he's hitting his threes and you're closing out to him hard, that's a pretty tall task to ask because they had a freshman guarding him a couple stretches as well. And a really big second half for Nate, which was huge.
Well, we talked about it. Ashland coming in on Saturday, coming into tonight's game, 10-3 overall, 4-2 in conference play. It's always a battle playing the Eagles. There's no question about that. But when you look at how the standings are, this moves you guys up to 3-3. You can put together another win here. It certainly has you trending in the right direction.
Yeah, that's huge. And we talked about that. We had going into last week, looking at the league standings, we were like a game out of first place. We were talking to the guys, it's a brand new season from the league. Those non-league games really don't matter much in terms of our league. And we really said, we got a new season here, and that's how we have to approach it. So to your point, if we can get a win Saturday, we're trending up in the league standings. And it's a long year yet, but it would be a huge one for us Saturday if we were able to get that one.
A lot of basketball to play, and we'll look forward to Saturday's game. Thank you very much, Coach. Always appreciate your time.
Thanks, Tim.
All right, Dan Shardo, assistant coach here, and let's take a look at some of these numbers here and kind of wrap things up.